You're listening to Kaio Conversations, a podcast about anything and everything that matters to Chi Omegas.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kaio Conversations. I'm your host, Leslie Harrington, CEO of Chi Omega, and today I am joined by not one, but two powerhouse Chi Omegas, Caroline Grubs and Paige Peshina, both initiates of Upsilon Beta chapter at Rollins College and proud members of the Team USA Water Ski Show team. Caroline and Paige met through competitive swivel skiing before joining Chi Omega at Rollins College, where they both served on the Cardinal cabinet. Originally from Minnesota and Ohio, they first competed against each other at nationals and quickly became friends. Now, as teammates, they are two-time Team USA Show Ski team champions, winning gold at the World Championships in 2022 and again in 2025 in Australia. Ladies, welcome to Kaio Conversations. I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you. We're so excited to be here. Very honored.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thrilled to death. So tell us, I feel like water skiing isn't really offered at every college, and I bet very few people have been fortunate enough to even attend a competition. So what's something most people don't understand or appreciate about the sport, would you say?
I mean, I think for both of us, it's like that family feeling of coming together as a team, whereas other sports, it could be individualized, where skiing is kind of both. There's that individual aspect and also that team aspect. And coming together as one with the individual side, becoming teammates and growing and learning each other, how you work on and off the water, I think is the biggest part.
Yeah, for sure. There's always something for everyone. So it's kind of interesting how you'll see parents being teammates with their kids, which is very rare. Mm-hmm. And even if your parents don't necessarily ski, a lot of families you'll see where the parents are support staff with helping with boats or equipment or costumes. So rather than just having your normal parent-child relationship, you get to have a relationship that really bonds you with your family for sure.
And did you guys ever compete with your family as part of your team?
Yeah, so I started doing something called adagio doubles, or strap doubles, it's called. And it's almost like pairs figure skating on the water. And I did that with my dad from age 7 to 12, and I competed in that with him. So, and then my mom is also on the team as well as my brother. So, yeah.
Well, your family pictures are beating ours. I mean, not beat that for sure. Well, competing for Team USA is a huge, incredible honor. Can you walk us through what it's like to represent your country in a sport? Many of us have not done that.
I think it's unlike anything we probably have ever been a part of. Wearing the colors and seeing everyone in set uniforms and stricter schedules where we can't see family members all the time or friends definitely gives you that elite athlete feel. Since we traveled all the way to Australia with only 35 of us, you look around and you're skiing next to the greatest people that are currently skiing is a pretty unreal feeling. And then when we get to the tournament and seeing all the different countries, seeing us, looking at them, it just is that surreal feeling.
Well, yeah, surreal. And these are probably all your personal idols, right? You knew these people and were probably starstruck a little bit, right, Paige?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that is the coolest thing about show skiing is since it is a smaller sport, you get to kind of be coached and mentored by the kind of your idols of the sport, the best of the best. And so a lot of us had that experience where growing up, we watched these athletes on webcasts and followed along with Team USA. And then to be named to the team and a part of it was just very surreal.
I bet. I mean, take us back even to the World Championship. You know, what was that competition like and how did it feel to win the gold?
I mean, I think the coolest part is being able to see other countries compete as well. Okay. So we are competing against Australia, Germany, Belgium, Sweden, Canada. We performed 12 acts within the team in 60 minutes. And we showcase creativity, athleticism, and precision throughout it. I feel like the success was not only like what drove all of us like to the victory, but it was bringing each other like along, helping each other like through all the ups and the downs of the training.
Sure. You mentioned that the two of you knew each other before attending Rollins. So I'm dying to know a little bit more about your full circle Chi Omega story. Caroline, you joined Upsilon Beta first, I believe. So did you know going into Rollins that you wanted to go through recruitment, and what ultimately led you to Chi Omega?
I knew I definitely wanted to rush. I would be a third generation sorority sister. My grandmother and mom were both a part of sororities. So no question asked, I knew I wanted to continue the sorority life. When I went to Rollins, as my mom and grandma talked about, going in super open-minded. I didn't really know where I wanted to go, like anyone would be. Didn't know anyone in the area, only really knew my freshman roommate. So I went in super open-minded, knew immediately that Chi was for me. The girls were so uplifting, so like welcoming to the house and to like, I just knew I wanted to be in the sorority. Like the arms were wide and I was like, I'm ready. But you also don't know if Chi is for you. So it took the time throughout the days, like learning if this was really the spot for me. And I knew exactly it was. And I was so honored to be accepted into Chi.
Well, I'm going to ask you, what sorority was your mom and your grandmother in?
My grandmother was an AD Pi and my mom was a Kappa Delta.
Yes, nice steal, Chi Omega. Way to go. What about you, Paige? What was your recruitment journey look like? And did Caroline steer you and provide influence, or did you love Chi Omega all by yourself?
Yeah, so my recruitment journey was a little bit different. None of my family was ever in a sorority. I never really had thought about going through recruitment before I went to Rollins. But at Rollins, our recruitment is in the spring. Yeah. So I saw on my first semester just how so many people were so positively influenced by Greek life. And so just seeing how that impacted so many women's lives, I was like, this is totally for me. So going into recruitment, obviously I did know Caroline before. However, I really wanted to make sure that I was choosing a sorority that was the best fit for me. I knew that Caroline and I would be friends no matter what. So it was kind of a matter of where did I feel the most at home. And so then going through recruitment and meeting all the other women of Chi Omega, I just really felt like that was my place. And so it was really cool to then run home to Caroline, which was just like an added bonus.
I'm so glad that worked out for you guys and for me and for us in Chi Omega. Some athletes are hesitant to join a sorority just due to the time commitment for both. And I was just curious, was Upsilon Beta flexible with you guys when it came to your skiing responsibilities? Talk to us about that.
Sure. I feel like from the start, I was super open and honest, even going through recruitment, that not only was I an athlete outside of college, I was also an athlete at Rollins. So Paige and I were both a part of the Rollins water ski team as well. So we're an athlete at school and outside of school, which is a very large commitment, plus sorority commitments on top of that. I think being super open and honest and showing that we put in the effort, both in academics, in our athleticism, and also Chi. People respected us knowing that we may have to miss out on an event here and there, but we put in the effort in other ways. Wow. And I think they were very supportive, knowing how much water skiing meant to us and how much effort and training we put into it. They were just as excited and helpful in that sense.
Good. Did you have the same experience, Paige?
Definitely. And I think since Caroline did join Chi a year before I did, they were kind of able to see what it takes for commitment wise through her. So I didn't necessarily have to explain that as much because she was already able to show that through her first couple of semesters in the sorority.
Yeah, she kind of modeled the way. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great to hear that. Some, I would say, sports coaches are not supportive of sorority membership. Did you guys have coaches while in college, and did you have to convince them, or were you, like you said, really in charge of your own training regimen?
were in charge of our training regimen. Our coach was open about sorority life, but wanted to make sure that we were maintaining our athleticism, being super active, but also academics. He was very open about the lifestyle of sororities, as fellow teammates were a part of sororities as well. That definitely helped steer us, knowing that it would be okay to kind of be involved in lots of things within the college. I think he doesn't push it on everyone, right? Because he's like, it's definitely up to you guys. But the social life of a sorority was so important to me, and I think as well as Paige, bringing all those girls into our life was just another outlook on campus. We knew so many more girls on campus, had lots of connections and friends. So I think for us, it was just a no-brainer.
And Paige, did you find it to be a release, just having that social outlet from all the training that you're doing?
Yeah, I felt like it honestly made our training more effective and better because we weren't just getting burnt out doing the same thing all the time. We were able to kind of balance our life throughout different areas of school, whether that be through sorority or sports.
I am curious to know, is there anything you learned in Chi Omega that translated into your sport or vice versa?
I think personal integrity. I hold myself super accountable to like higher standards of myself, but knowing that if it doesn't work out, it's okay. And I think that was really shown through Kaio. And then also, I think we both hold academic excellence like so high, and balancing that with our ski time, and it's taught us like discipline and time management, and it carries over those tools for competing, but also being a part of college.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I echo everything that Caroline said. I also feel like we've been able to explore a community service aspect as well within skiing. I know it's a priority of both Caroline and mine to really give back to the water ski community and coach new girls. So I feel like that's something that also Chi Omega instilled in us that we've been able to carry on.
I like that, paying it forward. Well, you two,
absolutely.
You don't just share a sport, you share a sisterhood, an alma mater, a team, and a dream. So I want to talk a little bit about teamwork, because whether you guys are pulling off like a flawless routine on the water or lifting each other up in some other way, strong teams don't really just happen by accident, they're on purpose. So what are some things you do to stay connected and in sync as a duo, even when things get stressful and competitive?
Sure. I think supporting each other both on and off the water are huge, whether we're competitors or teammates or nothing, right? Or just on the sidelines, we're supporting each other no matter what. We've had it at times where one of us is skiing and they land and the other is next to compete, and we're still each other's biggest cheerleaders. And I think that says more than anything else. And then putting like everyone's success ahead of yours, right? We all have individual goals, but we want to make sure even on their good and bad runs that they know that there's that support system outside of being on the water.
100%. I feel like that is the most special thing that I've experienced, is just the genuine excitement for one another, regardless of how the performance goes. You are supportive on your worst days and on your best days, which is really unique, because I feel like a lot of times when you're in a sport where you're both teammates and you're competing against each other, that can get really tough. And it's hard to know how someone's going to react. And so that's been the most incredible surprise, is to just see how I feel like a lot of us in this sport are really able to connect with one another and lift each other up, which is so special.
Well, you two are so sunshiny and positive and bubbly. So I want to dig into what you just said a little bit more. Have you ever had to like work through a challenge, or have you ever disagreed out there, just being on the team together? And what role does trust play in your partnership?
I think anyone, there's that like individual or outlook on a situation, but like talking it out, making sure we're all on the same page, making sure we're together as one. There's so many different unique styles and ways you can perform things, and throwing out ideas to each other, I think is the biggest, and just kind of finding that common ground. We've competed together and separately, but together I know we come up with things that we know are our strong suits and what we can both perform well at so that we can be the best we can together.
Paige, is she speaking the truth?
Absolutely. I feel like it's all about communication, especially in a sport that's a lot of high pressure. So you just have to talk about openly and proactively how you're feeling about how certain things are going, how certain decisions have been made. And then I think that mitigates a lot of potential conflict that could come up for sure.
Well, how do you two, Paige, I'll go to you first. How do you celebrate your wins, big and small?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we do a lot outside of just skiing. So I know Caroline and we love good food. And so we definitely will celebrate over a really good dinner or something like that. But we do like to have fun outside of just being at the lake. And so I feel like we celebrate through spending time together, not just while we are training.
Love it. What about you, Caroline? Food is our seventh purpose. So
totally into the food after a tournament. Like love getting a good meal. But I definitely get together with the core group that's helped me with that run or performance. The boat driver, the pinner, anyone who's helped me like do that little 5-minute swivel routine. So I always get together with them and do a little celebration just to say even thank you. But going back to kind of like the big and small wins, I would say I am not competitive, but also super competitive with myself. So even if something were to go wrong in a run, I am still so proud of myself of a new trick I've made or something I've been wanting to try. So the big and small wins always play out. And I feel like even if there's that mistake, I always am just so proud of myself at the end of the day for getting out there and doing it.
I'm so glad you treat yourself right. That is so important. Be nice to you. When you guys look back years from now, what do you hope people remember the most about you, not just as athletes, but as women and leaders?
I would say leaving people with the feeling of valued and encouraged. We put a lot of effort into it, but I think being encouraged to get out there and just do it. Like there's nothing holding you back. I think treating people with respect and empathy is huge, and aspiring confidence in young women to lead, I think, is also just like one of our goals. We try to give back as much as we can to the younger generation and just make them thrive. We want them to be better than who we are on the water and off the water, and just growing that connection with the younger generation.
Wow, I'm the older generation, but I feel inspired already.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say uplifting. This sport is so much fun, but it also can be very frustrating. So we always want to make sure that we're lifting up the new skiers and our competitors that are at the same level we're at, because we understand what goes into it. And then not only in skiing, but also in life, you always want to make somebody feel better when you leave them than how they were whenever you first met them. So definitely lifting people up.
Listen, there's no mean girl spirit in the two of you. I love to hear this. You know, that is wonderful to see on a team when you guys are competitors against each other. Paige, I'm curious, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice before your first competition or your first day even at Rollins College, what would it be?
Just to trust the process. I know that's kind of cliche, but there's definitely challenges and it's scary, but it ultimately leads to achieving your goals. And so just to trust that things will work out, that they're meant the way that they are meant to, for sure.
Love that. Caroline, anything you would tell little Caroline?
I would say compete as much as possible, like keep doing it. Even if you fall, a mistake happens, get up and be okay with it. One mistake or time does not define you. No one's going to remember it, right? So don't hold yourself down or don't pull yourself down because one time, keep moving on.
Well, there are plenty of people to knock us down, but you lift yourselves up. So great advice to little Paige and little Caroline. And Big Caroline and Big Paige, thank you both so much for joining us today. It was such a joy getting a behind the scenes look at your lives as world-class athletes, teammates, and Chi Omega sisters. You both are truly very inspirational on and off the water. So thank you. Before you hit the skis again, is there anything that we left out, something else you want to share with everybody?
I don't think I have anything. Thank you so much.
Well,
go Chi Omega.
Go Chi.
Yeah. Right?
Love to hear that. Thank you, ladies. It is very clear to me and to everyone else, I think, that you have made waves on and off the water. And thanks everyone for watching and listening today. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast online so you don't miss out on any of the remarkable stories we still have coming up this season. And I cannot wait to catch up with you again very soon for another Chi O conversation. And as Caroline said, go Chi O.